This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised. Good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon drive here from Djuma Private Game Reserve in the northeastern Lowveld of South Africa. My name is James Henry. David is on camera, and our first starring role today is going to be played by the little Grebe. Are we in a position to see it okay? Well, sort of. Now, by my reckoning, this little Grebe should be about to hatch its eggies. I'm pretty sure the eggies must be about to come out, and it's possible that she's sitting on the chicks right now. So we'll sit here for a little while I tell you. It would be great to hear from you during the course of the show. For the first 45 minutes, just the kids, please. And you can send your questions to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. That's kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. We're going to head down towards the southeast of the reserve. There were some vultures there today. Not sure if they were following the wild dogs we had later on in the drive, but let's go and see if they're still there. Otherwise, we'll spend a little bit of time with this Grebe, and maybe we'll be lucky enough either to see the eggies. She's got 4 eggies. Or maybe, just maybe, she's given, or the eggs have hatched. Somebody's saying there's a chick. Well done. Look! Well spotted, final control. Look, there's our baby Grebe. Well spotted, Natalie. The mother knows we've spotted it. This is the first time we've seen this, everyone. That's spectacular. Look at that. We didn't even see it. Isn't that amazing? Hey? A little baby Grebe, it can't be more than a day old. There were eggs there yesterday. Ah! Look at that. Now there were 4 eggs, and they won't necessarily all hatch at the same time. Now the most priceless thing for us to see here would be the little Grebes riding on their mother's back. That's what they like to do sometimes. Isn't that just too special? Just probably a day or 2 old. No, must be about a day, less than a day. And having a yawn. And look how enormous its legs are. Hey? Huge, huge legs. We're not going to get a better picture if I move anywhere, are we, David? Maybe back a bit.
Maybe forward.
Forward. Let me just try and shift slightly. So many sticks and things in the way. Fine. Here comes the other parent now. Now, my good wife today said, please will you go and check the Grebes? And I said, yes, okay, but I keep checking them. Oh, now let's look. Let's see if there aren't some more. Because they may take over from one another. The other parent might take over. Look, the little one's moving. It's in the water. Now, it should be able to swim. That shouldn't be a problem. That should be fine. There we go. That's it. Oh, what a clever little thing. Justy, you're sitting in Cape Town wondering how long they'll stay in the nest. Well, let me just open my bird app because I'm not actually sure. This is very special, everybody. This is a tremendously exciting sighting for me. Anyway. Yeah, so sometimes they will hatch over an extended period. So this might be the only... Oh, it's got on the back. You see that? This might be the only baby that's been born so far. Oh, this is too magical. And the others might still be eggs. So, here we go. Young start moving about on the nest within a few hours of hatching, so we've seen that. Or float in the water, so they'll float in the water from now, feet and toes spread behind them. Chicks may accompany either the adult swimming near the adult, or climb onto the adult's back. At 25 days, short wings have developed, and the young may return to the natal nest and perform wing flapping. 29 days, they may attempt to forage, encouraged by the adults who drop live food in the water in front of the young. At 32 days, so just over a month, the young can self-feed and may be left alone by the adults, but fed by the adults up to 42 days. Fully grown at just 50 days. So in under 2 months, they will be fully grown. Now, it must be said at this point that the success rate is really not great. Kyra, the babies will eat exactly what the adults eat, and so the adults will go and catch insects, and they'll bring them back and feed them to the babies. The youngster might even start catching its own prey as soon as it starts to swim, but I don't think so. It's so special, isn't it? All right, let's go across to Lauren and say hello to her. I think she's on her way to the dogs.
How very cute. The grebes have hatched. The little grebes hatchlings are with us after all that time spent with the eggs. And we are with something, well, also little, but in the world of spiders, actually very, very big. This is a big banded golden orbweb spider that we're sitting with here, and she's absolutely beautiful. My name is Lauren. I do have Owen on camera today, and we are on our way to Buffelshoek Dam to hopefully find some doggies, but we had to stop and admire her because she is absolutely stunning. She's quite skittish. She does actually, well, she runs when the car comes. She's not completely as terrifying as she looks. And you are welcome to ask me anything about her. I became quite a spider expert because I know there's so many families watching today from all over the world, from countries including UK, my own, France, Canada, India, Singapore, Botswana, South Africa, USA, Germany and the Netherlands, and I am more than sure there are many countries joining us today as well. So welcome on board, and please do talk to us. Ask us anything you wish. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it, but this web is actually golden. It's stunning. It catches your eye, especially when you're driving by, and it's not a trick of light or an illusion. It is actually golden. And this is where the name the golden orbweb spider comes from. She releases pigments into the proteins that make the silk, and she can actually control the level of pigment. So some parts may look really, really yellow and really golden, and other parts may just look normal, transparent web colour. So I think Owen's doing a fantastic job of showing you how detailed and intricate this web is, and I hope you can see in some parts it's very, very yellow. She is the female, obviously, and I haven't yet spotted the male. The male is tiny in comparison to her. Oh, he's brave. There he is. Hello. He's not, doesn't look like he's completely as close to her as this view makes it look like he is. I think there's quite a distance between them, maybe a web between them. Okay, so I'm going to head up north, see what's going on down there, say goodbye to my girlfriend here, and you guys are going back across to James with some elephants.
We've got the elephants, which are beautiful. They've just come down to drink. And I can tell you that while you're looking at the elephants, the little baby grebe is on its own. The other eggs are still eggs. And the mum is sort of leaving the nest periodically to come and feed them. But let's look at these magnificent elephants. Lovely day for them to be having a swim. It's pretty hot out here, probably about 82 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 degrees Celsius. And they're having a serious drink. There's no messing around here. Hello Fox, all the way in Ontario, wondering what elephants do when there's a storm. Fox, elephants normally just stand in the storm. They don't really have a choice, except sometimes they'll go under a thick bush or into some thick bush, and that helps them to stay a little bit sheltered. But you know, they don't really mind rain on their skins. Most of the animals here don't really mind rain on the skin. They just have to cope with it, you know. It's not like they can go inside. See how long they stay here. Normally they drink quite quickly and then they head off. And then they head off quickly. But if they are feeling playful, some of them might be allowed to stay and have a swim. Now we're going to wish a happy birthday to Riley, who is aged 8. He is apparently a junior guide. So happy birthday, Riley. I hope you're having a good day. Apparently he lives in the lamentable settlement of Hoedspruit. Riley, we can't all have the things that we deserve. Hoedspruit is quite close to where we are here. It's just so interesting to see such enormous animals like this to drink at the same waterhole where such a tiny little bird is just coming into the first flush of life. So now they're having a little bit of a feed, and then there's a little one lying down there. And the little ones often do that. Oh, and that's quite interesting. The one behind the little one has got that partial albinism, they call it, I think, where there are parts of the body that don't have any pigment. That means that parts of the body remain pink, and the eye actually becomes quite blue. Shall we go back to our little grebe? There's the little one now. You see it in the water. And now Mum's been feeding it. He's just having a good float. Might be lifted up now into the nest. The other eggs are still eggs. At least 2 of them. And often she'll cover them up. Yeah, there are 3 eggs it looks like there. So that's the eldest. That little one. So cute. Well spotted by the final control room. Yes, Emma, the nest is floating. That's exactly right. Was that from Emma aged 2?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's quite impressive, Emma, aged 2. You must be a very advanced 2-year-old. You'll probably get your PhD from Stellenbosch University by the time you're 13. All right, let's go back to Ngala now, or up to Ngala for the first time this afternoon, where Sean is waiting to say hello to you all. No, we're not going to go to Sean just yet. Apparently there's a small technical glitch that we're just trying to sort out. So we'll just stay with our little grebes. You see where the little one's gone?
I didn't.
I think maybe it's gone behind or onto Mum's back. Maybe even underneath Mum there. There's a beastly piece of grass just in the way there. And at this time of the day, the light is so bright that it might be better to try this again a little bit later on. It's very clever the way they've built it in amongst those thorny bushes there. Cool. Well, I think that we should probably move on from here now. We might follow the elephants for a little while, and then we'll head down towards the southeast of the reserve and see what's going on that side. Like I say, there were some vultures down there this morning, and maybe they've seen something that's been killed. Maybe a predator's been active in the area, or maybe it was just the wild dogs that they were following. We'll go and investigate that during the course of the afternoon. That was fun, wasn't it? Wow. Alright, we'll now try again to go across to Ngala, where Sean is waiting to say hello to you all.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala with myself, Sean, and we still got myself behind the camera. And weather's changed, now a lovely day, nice and hot. Sun's out, a couple clouds.
Sorry about that. Ngala is having a bit of trouble today. It's not Ngala, of course. It's just a few technical glitches that we need to sort out during the course of the afternoon, which I'm sure we shall manage to do. In the meantime, a beautiful, very early winter's, or I suppose we'd call it autumn, really. Autumn day. We're not in winter yet. Winter truly only comes to the Lowveld about halfway through May, I think. Where on earth did 8 elephants go? There they are. Just in the thickets here. We'll spend a little bit of time with them. They're in some very thick bush, though. I don't know, Matthew. I'm not sure how long little grebes live, but you know, birds can be pretty long-lived. I really would be guessing completely. I'm going to say, Matthew, roughly 20 years, I would say, but I might be wrong. Just going to wait here and see what they do. They are having a dust bath in the middle of this thicket. But the reason I've stopped here at this distance is that this elephant in front of us had lifted her head up and opened her ears out a little bit, as if to say, okay, that's quite far enough. And When an elephant speaks like that with its body, it's wise to listen. Elephants seem to love the feeling of dust on their skin, and we think also that it helps them to get rid of parasites, so things that would eat at their skin and cause them disease, perhaps. Let's just listen to them for a while. Hear them pulling and breaking branches and that sort of thing. And the reason that one there that we're looking at looked a little uneasy is that if you look very carefully in the bushes next to her, there's a baby. So she's probably the baby's mum, and she just wants to make sure that the baby is safe and in no danger at all. Diana, we think elephants do have good memories, yes. We're not sure if they could remember a number series or something like that, but they certainly remember where to go when it's dry. You know, they know where all the waterholes are. They seem to be able to teach that information to their babies and pass that information on. So yes, we do think they've got good memories. Is making a very strange noise. Right, we're going to try for the third time now to link across to andBeyond Ngala, where apparently there's a giraffe and a guide ready to say hello to you.
Hopefully, guys, third time's the charm. So welcome back for the third time to Ngala. So we've been having some technical difficulties down in the south of the reserve. But I'm still here, Sean. We still got myself behind the camera. And we have two giraffe also on the camera. These both females. I thought I saw a third one a little bit further back, but I can't see it at the moment. You see exactly where these two pretty ladies are looking. This is where the other giraffe was. It's always interesting to sit and spend some time with giraffe. Firstly, they are very beautiful animals, all different. Well, they can vary in colors, but it's good to watch them, to see where they're looking. Oh, there comes the third one there. You can see it in the back. Seems much, much smaller. Maybe a calf of one of these females. That one there also seems to be a female, that little one. What I'm saying is you must watch where giraffe watch. So if all three of these giraffe had to turn and all face the same direction, then myself and myself would be quite curious. Oh, okay, what are they looking at? It's something more important than us. You know, let's go investigate. Let's go have a look. Because if these guys see a predator, that's what they do. They stop and they stare. But you can see the three of them all facing different directions. The one staring at us. The other two ones looking into the tree, the little baby's looking back behind it, where it came from. So obviously nothing too important, maybe an impala or a kudu or a buffalo, something like that. But very, very beautiful animals. So it sounds like we got a question from Zach, who's 8 years old, living in the UK. Hello, Zach. Zach wants to know how tall giraffes are. So Zach, these females right here, these ones that we're looking at, if I had to stand under that one, that Marcel's got the camera on, if I had to stand under her, I would maybe come up to just above the top of her legs. And I'm 1.7, so she's maybe 2.5 to 3 of me. So it's at 1.7. It's about 5 meters, roughly. 5 meters for these females. The male will be slightly taller, probably 6, 7, 8 meters. Because these ones might still grow a little bit. So Zach, they depends male, female, but males generally taller. Probably tallest will be between 7 and 8 meters. They're very big. I've seen them sometimes, like from here. You know, they obviously look big on camera and in real life, but from the car, when you go down and you walk up to them.
Spring School, USA, 3rd grade, do giraffe living groups.
Okay, so we've got a question from a school, from the 3rd grade. They're wanting to know, do giraffe live in groups? So giraffe do live in groups, yes. Well, sort of. You know, so like this. There's 3 giraffe here. So there's 2 big females, and then that older calf that we saw on the left-hand side. So that calf will stick with its mother, which I'm thinking is that one now walking towards it. So these 3 might stick together for now, and then this one female might decide she wants to turn right, and the other 2 turn left, and that's fine. They're not like a herd of elephants. They're not like a pride of lions. You know, they all come together. I say they just friends. They got friend groups. Sometimes you meet up with your friends. Sometimes you leave your friends. So it just depends on how you're feeling. If they're feeling social, they'll join up with their friends. If they're not, they will leave their friends. So I guess, you know, we got the one giraffe here on the right-hand side, the other 2 moving off. Perfectly fine. Perfectly normal. They don't have tight family units. This one's very dark, this giraffe here. So they vary. Some are very, very dark. I've seen one that's almost black in color. But then some are very, very pale. As it sounds, we've got a question from Malaysia. I didn't catch the name. But wanting to know what's the difference between a male and a female giraffe. So have a look carefully at this one here. Ouyang sounds like the name. But you can see her horns, the little ossicones on the top of her head. As soon as she's done. Is she chewing there?
She's chewing a bone.
Yeah, seems like she is chewing a bone there. We'll come back to the question now. So Marcel saw her pick up a bone. And often giraffes will do that, especially during the winter months. Not generally this time of the year, but in the winter months, these giraffes will chew bones to get some of the minerals that they're missing. So bones obviously got a lot of calcium, so the giraffes will chew on that, try and get as much of those sort of calcium minerals as they can to supplement their diet. I don't know if you can hear, it's very soft, but we can hear her every now and then sort of crunching a little bit of the bone, breaking off little fragments. But if you have a look at the horns, just coming back to that question, you can see at the top, it's very black. The top of her horn there, you can see that right-hand horn there is very black. So that tells us it's a female. The males, they have a little bit of black, but they're mostly bald on top of the horns, and that's due to fighting. So the males will fight with those horns. I think they had it at Djuma a couple of days ago where 2 giraffes were fighting. I think Lauren had that. And that's what the males do, and it wears that hair away from their horns. Then we had another question asking what giraffes eat besides leaves. So as I said, mainly leaves, but in the winter months we don't have too much leaves. A lot of the leaves fall off the trees. There's no water for the plants, things like that. So they will eat the bones. There, you can actually see the bone now in the mouth. That white thing there, there we go. So that is the bone. So they will do that to supplement their diet. Otherwise, some of these trees will still have leaves, and they will switch between the bones and the leaves, bones and the leaves. But this is special behavior to see. It's not often that you see the giraffes actually eating the bones. I have only seen it, I think this is the 2nd or 3rd time that I have seen it happen. It's a very special behavior, very unusual behavior. A lot of people, don't actually know. They I say to them, to guests, like, oh look, the giraffe's eating a bone. And guests are like, what? I didn't know giraffes eat bone. So it's unusual behavior, but it does happen. You know, that's how these animals adapt. It's how they learn to survive during tough times. You know, imagine an animal like this. You know, one of these female giraffes is weighing quite a few 100 kilograms, maybe 5, 6, 7, 800 kilograms. So it's very heavy. It's a lot of food that one of these giraffes eat. I don't know the exact amount that it would eat, but it's a lot. So now in winter, when everything's dead and dying and there's few leaves left, you know, these animals, they struggle. So they've got to learn and adapt and find ways to supplement what food resources they can. And you mostly find them going after old bones. Animals that have been dead for a while, you know, where the bones have been sitting in the sun and baking and cooking, and they become very soft, well, very brittle rather, so they break easily, they fragment quite easily. And it's probably what this giraffe is doing, getting all of those broken bits off. But while we spent some time here with this giraffe just to see what happens, what we're going to do is send you back across to James at Djuma.
We have not moved at all from where we were, and that young elephant came here, and then suddenly he heard that he was going to be live on the internet, and he said to hell with this, and he disappeared off through into the bushes. Very shy. Let's drive slightly forward. We're not going to go far forward, and we're not going to spend too much more time with these guys because they are in some very thick bush. And when elephants are in thick BR, you see, they're already moving away, and that's because I moved towards them, and they're just feeling a little bit nervous, I think, in such thick bush. So I think we'll probably leave them. We'll just let them settle there and quickly show you a bird on the ground there. Can you see it, Darth? Or is it now inevitably gone behind a bush? The birchall starling. Lovely shades of green and blue and purple. Lily, elephants normally flap their ears in order to cool down, and there's a big thing in South Africa quite often where people will tell that if an elephant's flapping its ears, it's angry, and that's not true. An elephant flaps its ears when it's trying to cool down. And they've got lots of blood in their ears, and then that blood cools down when they flap their ears, and then they go off, or the blood goes off into the brain, and it keeps the brain and the head nice and cool. So it's like an inbuilt air conditioner, which is quite clever. If they open their ears out like that and hold them open, then sometimes it indicates that they're not happy and they want you to go away. But when they're just flapping their ears like that, it's very gentle and very much them cooling. Hooray! Lauren has managed to find one of the most special predators that we find here.
I found the doggies, everyone, and I'm going to tell you how I found them in just a moment. This story will make you all laugh. Oh, and what about here? You can get a nice shot of these ones. They're just a little bit skittish around the vehicle. It's the same pack that James had this morning. And we went to Buffelshoek Dam where it was anticipated that they would be, and they were not there. And I said, okay, they've probably crossed over into Buffelshoek. So we left. And all of a sudden I could smell them. I could really smell them, and I turn around and there they are. I can smell dogs before I see them. I've got a really heightened sense of smell. Terrible ears, but really, really heightened sense of smell. And I could smell them straight away. I knew we had the doggies. Now these are the African wild dogs, everyone. And I love the name wild dogs, but some people think that it's maybe slightly too negative. It makes them sound maybe wild and vermin and dirty and dangerous. So there's a conservation movement trying to change their name to the painted wolves. Now I also like that name. I like both names, and I do understand if any animal has a name that has negative connotations, then I agree it should be changed. No animal should be thought of negatively. And Latin name is the Lycaon pictus, which means painted wolf. So that's actually where the new name painted wolf comes from. Or you can call them the Cape hunting dog. I really like African wild dog, but some people think it's a bit too negative. Now, they're very flat. I don't really want to turn my engine on right now. I haven't counted yet either. Can we get any view on? They're panting heavily. It's hot. But they will get up. It's going to be worth staying with them. They may go back to the dam for a drink. Matthew, you're 14 years old and you're asking a very complex question. You're asking, can animals, maybe leopards or wild dogs, smell fear? I'm guessing you mean fear from humans, Matthew. I don't believe so. I don't believe that they can smell fear from humans. But some animals in the animal kingdom can smell fear from one another. Oh, this is terrible views, isn't it? I'm sorry, Owen. Let me see if I can roll the car without turning the engine on. They're very sleepy and I really want to wake them up. We're not rolling, guys. Okay, I'll turn on my car a little bit. Okay, I'm going to be really gentle, but Matthew, I personally don't believe they can smell fear in humans, but in each other, yes. I think animals... Can we get this one here, Rowan, from here? No, doggy, it's okay. I'm sorry, I just woke them up out their nap. Oh, that's a doggy's bum. Downward dog. Yoga moves happening there. But they can sense fear in each other, I truly believe. Even fish release stress, fear hormones or pheromones, into the water that other fish can then understand and know that there's a threat nearby. Wild dogs will have ways of calling to one another vocally. They're very vocal animals to let one another know that there's a threat nearby. So it's a great question, Matthew, but I personally don't believe they can smell fear in humans. Now, maybe your domestic dog will be able to react to you because domestic dogs are very in tune to their owners. So I do sometimes wonder that they can read their owner in so many different ways and understand that the owner is threatened or scared. But wild animals, I don't think they would understand what fear in human means. But great question. And again, we're back to the original problem with no view. Shall we try? Oh, no, we do. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, now I really am going to try and roll, because they're all just round here. Why does my car not want to roll? I'll turn on the engine once again. There we go. Even if we just get half a body, sleeping wild dogs. I've not seen you chaps in a very long time. I was on a really, really lucky streak with wild dogs before I went on vacation. We've seen them all the time. Davy and I had the most incredible sighting, pack of wild dogs, having a standoff with a water buck. It was incredible. But this is the first time I've seen them in a while. I've been very lucky with leopards lately. I keep walking into leopards. And it's so nice to see wild dogs. I haven't done a count for you yet, because, well, they're flat, but I shall. And that mottled coat pattern is so stunning and so striking, and no dog has the same coat pattern. Each and every single wild dog will have a different pattern. It may look similar, but it will never be the same. Third grade school, I think. You're asking, why are the ears so big? Great question. They rely heavily on hearing. They're very vocal and they need to be able to contact one another because they're very social over great distances. So their ears are so big, they're almost like Mickey Mouse ears, don't you think? And they're like satellites. They can move them in different directions. not completely backwards, but they can turn them because they're trying to pick up exactly where that sound is coming from. Humans are not so good at that. Some humans better than others, granted, but we are not great at judging very, very precisely where the sound is coming from, but African wild dogs are. And that's why their ears are so big. They need to be able to hear. They rely on their hearing for hunting, communicating with one another, finding their pack. Is really, really important. And their ears are also slightly curved, just like Mickey Mouse, to sort of channel all the sound directly into that eardrum, into the inner ear. Normally you can gauge by looking at an animal what senses they rely on. So elephants, for example, their eyes are so small. If James is still with his elephants, he'll be able to show you in comparison to their head. So that shows you that elephants don't really rely on their eyesight. Whereas dogs, their ears are so big, so that automatically tells you that they rely on their hearing. I think we've just got slightly better visuals of the other group. And it's not great, I know that, but at any minute, these dogs will wake up, and my goodness, I'll have to follow, and it won't be easy. I'm prepared, everyone. I am prepared. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Benjamin, you are 6 years old and you're in Toronto. Hello there. Very good to hear from you. And you are asking if wild dogs are good runners, and yes, they are. So they're designed for that. They're very light. Their skeletons are light. They don't have sort of big muscular bodies like leopards and lions do. They've got long legs, really, really well adapted nasal passages, and they're built for running. They're built for endurance. They have a lightweight skull. All of these things contribute to the fact that they're designed to run. They're designed for speed. Whereas if you're a leopard, you're heavy, you're bulky, you've got lots of muscles, you're chunky, heavy skull, heavy teeth. You're not designed for running long distances, but dogs are. So yes, Benjamin, they are incredibly fast runners, and that's actually how they hunt. They hunt by running. It's called coursing. And it just means that you run and you run and you run and you keep running until you either exhaust your prey, panic your prey, or your prey ends up tripping up and falling and, of course, landing on the floor. And this is called coursing. It's a hunting technique, and it's very, very different from lions and leopards. Their hunting ranges can be huge. They can be up to 2,000 kilometers squared. Tristan, you're 4 years old and you're from the UK. I wonder which part. I am from Bonnie, Scotland, in case you couldn't already tell. No, they're not related to domestic dogs. They're completely different, and they could not interbreed with domestic dogs, even if they wanted to. It's not possible. They're the only species in their genus, Tristan, which is Lycaon. And believe it or not, everyone, this wild dog is also not related to hyena in any way, shape or form. But back in the 1820s, they were actually called Hyena picta instead of Lycaon pictus. And why that is because, well, back in the day, before they were properly classified, it was thought that they were a species of hyena. Can you believe that? But they're not. They're absolutely not. And they were reclassified in 1827, I believe. And they were properly classified as what we know them today, Lycaon pictus, African wild dogs. Every animal in the entire world, in the entire animal kingdom, has a Latin name. Even humans. We are Homo sapiens. So I can't believe it, but I believe 45 minutes has flown by already, everyone. What a sunny, hot afternoon, and I'm sitting here with wild dogs. So thank you all, kiddies, for your comments and questions. It's really, really much appreciated. I can see that Owen has a beautiful beautiful spider web on his lens now. So we are going to switch over and open up the questions to everyone. So you are welcome to send in your questions. We will still answer them from absolutely everyone, adults now as well. Oh, that smell, I can't even begin to describe it. Ooh, it's so strong. It's urine. It's bitter, sour, really acidic urine. I can't really think of any other way to describe it other than that. The stalest of urine that's been kept in a bottle for years. That's what wild dogs smell like. As gorgeous as they are, they're really, really not pleasant to smell. I'm so glad we found them. We could have easily have driven past them. They're flat in the grass, but the reason we didn't was because I could smell them. Cretam? I hope I got that name right. If not, you will have to spell it, Natalie. But otherwise, I hope I got it right. I'm just waiting on Pretam. Okay, I hope I got that right. Yes, they're technically nomadic. They don't have territories. They're not territorial. Again, completely different from lions and leopards. And they're only really sedentary for 3 months, and that's normally between about May to July, and that's the denning period. When they are denning, they will defend their dens and they will mark it. They'll be very precious about that because, of course, there'll be puppies inside. But other than their dens, they don't have territories. They have home ranges and hunting ranges, but not territories. Home ranges are much bigger than territories, and it's a phrase that we use to describe the area an animal covers to find food and water and resources. But territories is an area that they will actively defend. They will scent mark, they will call, they will fight an intruder for. So they have home ranges, they have hunting ranges, but yes, you are completely right. They're nomadic, they're vagabonds. They are not territorial. And believe it or not, they are the second most endangered carnivore next to the Ethiopian wolf. And I actually just came back from Ethiopia very, very recently with Davi, and we went on an amazing adventure looking for the Ethiopian wolf. And I'm just going to show you a photo of one. Hopefully you can see it in this bright white light of the sun. Here we go on. This is one of the photos that I took in Ethiopia, and this is a relative, a very close relative of the African wild dog, and this is the most endangered carnivore in the whole of Africa, and it's a canid, it's part of the Canidae family, just like the wild dogs, so they're very closely related. And this is the Ethiopian wolf actually snacking on a giant mole rat. So they're very closely related to the Ethiopian wolves, and both of them are really, really endangered. But the Ethiopian wolf more so. There's really not many left in the world. Somewhere between 450 to 500 adults left in the world for the Ethiopian wolf. Very, very sad. There's definitely more numbers of African wild dogs. So I'm going to sit with my very, very smelly dogs, and as I enjoy every moment, we're going to send you across to Sean to see what he's up to now.
With your very smelly dogs. Dogs are very smelly, those wild dogs. So we left that giraffe, well, those 3 giraffe. The other 2 kept walking a little bit further off, and the one eating the bone eventually dropped it and just sort of started walking away. Further off into the bush as well. So we carried on, seeing a couple of impala, saw a few zebras, but all in technically difficult areas. So the search continues. What we're trying to do is go into shady areas. You can see that's not what we're doing right now. Very exposed here, lots of sun, not too many big trees for the animals to sort of hide in and around. So what we ideally want to do is head actually to the river. So the river, obviously big trees around the banks of the river, and it means it's much, much cooler there for the animals. And that is exactly what we're going to do. Because also, if we think back to our school time geography, we remember cold air sinks. Cold air sinks, so the river is nice and cool. We've got a question from Paddy, who is 5 years old, wanting to know what is the longest snake that we get here. So, the longest snake that I've seen was a python, an African rock python. Was the longest snake that I've actually seen myself. This one was about 4 meters, give or take. So that would be probably about 12 feet. Biggest one I've seen. But I think black mambas also get fairly long. They can go to, yeah, probably close, 3.5 meters. Otherwise, most of the snakes we get are quite small. So the rock python would be the biggest snake that we get here on andBeyond Ngala. But we don't see them too often. Unfortunately, I like snakes. I don't know a lot about them, but I like looking at them. I was hoping now, next couple of days, as it gets cold, especially in the mornings and the evenings, very, very cold here, that these warm, sunny days will bring out some of the reptiles. Some of those cold-blooded animals that are trying to warm up in the sun while it's here. But today we haven't seen. I saw a black mamba the other day, which was very cool, but it kind of slithered across the road. Yeah, always special. But I was hoping for a python. Because, they're big, they get quite lazy, especially in the cold. And often they'll come and sort of lie in an open area like this, or on a grass path, something like that, where they can still be a bit protected, but get that sun. So better keep watching. Hopefully we'll find some snake. I've also seen a lot, the snakes that I have seen, a lot of them have been in the trees. They go up to sort of the top of the trees. They're a bit safer from any animals on the ground, and they're a bit closer to the sun. They get more of the sun. There's obviously less shade at the top of the tree. But only certain snakes, because then you got to worry about snake eagles and other predatory birds that will come down and try and catch the snakes. So I'm looking all at the time, I promise. I do like them. But right now, I'll kind of settle for any animal. It's been a tough day, yeah. Here at andBeyond Ngala. But guys out there, I'm hoping even now as we drive through patches of shade like this, it is getting cooler. The few animals that we have been seeing have also been in the shade. Obviously something like a giraffe struggles to find shade for it. But, they are in the shade. There's an impala there in the shade. That's where the animals are going. So we follow logic, that's where we should be going. Wasn't seen not too many elephants, eh? Haven't seen too many elephants on our side. But I think James might have had some elephants. He either found them or he lost them, but he had them. So let's send you across to James.
I did have them, but I no longer have them. We left them, they were in the thick bush, and so we are heading off now. Well, we've done a little survey of the southern boundary, and all our vultures have flown off, so we're pretty sure that they were following the wild dogs this morning, perhaps during their kill, and I wonder if they didn't kill something around this area. So now we're going to drive down towards the Molwanini, which is a riverbed off to the east here, in the vague hopes of finding some sign of Thandi the leopard and or her cubs. Hopefully but I think they're still on Torchwood, which is this reserve to the left-hand side, where we cannot go. There she is. There she is. Behold the tracks of Thandi. Let me move the car slightly. Michelle, no, I didn't put sunscreen on. Well, I did, but that's not why it looks like my head is a different colour. My head looks like it's a different colour because I had a haircut today. Self-inflicted with a shaver. And so I look like a bit of a sort of victim of a vicious barber attack. This is interesting. And there's a cub with her, I think. Here. There is a leopard track, a female leopard. And there is a little cub track. Just trying to decide if they are cub tracks or maybe mongoose tracks. Sure there are cub tracks actually. Although, let's just go to the end of the road there and see if they pop out and where she goes from there. This looks a little bit like a sort of territorial patrol rather than a hunting foray. Maybe she's taken the cubs to a kill. They're still there. Still there. These are fresh. These are from today. Oh no, hang on. They've got mongoose tracks on top of them. So they may be from relatively early this morning. Let's just go right to the end here and see where she goes from here. No, I don't think she's walking with the cub here. Exactly like you've just done there, Meet Ladva. You want to know how to ask us questions, just like you've done there. You've just asked your first question, and I'm answering it. Hello and welcome. It's wonderful to have you on board with us on the world's largest game drive. So this is the southern boundary. We can go that way these days. There is a track. Here is a track. Cars have driven here on top of the tracks. So I don't think that they are that fresh. Here is a track. Here are tracks. There's water over here. I don't see her. I don't think she's with the cubs here. Looks very much to me like she's on her own. So, for those of you who are new viewers, this is probably the tracks, in all likelihood the tracks of a leopardess called Tundi, who we know very well, and who's got two little cubs. And we've been privileged enough to see them twice, and maybe we'll be lucky enough to see them again sometime soon. We can't go there, we can go there. I'm just going to check this waterhole quickly. See if she hasn't popped down that way. If she sees me on foot, she will most likely just melt away into the grass, unless I get very close to her cub. I don't see any cub tracks there, though. And the cubs are definitely of an age that they can move with her now. We've seen footage from a trail camera of her moving with the cubs. Just going to have a quick squiz around the waterhole here. Susie, no, I didn't see any leopard track cubs. Leopard cub tracks. Leopard cub tracks. I thought I had initially, but I don't think they were. They were too small, and I think they were mongoose or genet tracks. They looked of a different age. So she doesn't appear to be lying here in the shade having a drink. Anyway, we should probably press on from here now. It's a pity she's gone off onto that reserve over there, which is called Little Gowrie. C'est la vie, c'est la vie. That's how things go. Let's go down up to Lauren now. She's sitting at the waterhole with the wild dogs.
Not much has changed in the life of the wild dogs. They are still completely flat. They're panting away. It's far too hot for them. I'm sweating. I haven't positioned Owen and myself very well. We're not in the shade. That's my fault. But we must suck it up. I do not want to get any closer to the wild dogs, and I also don't want to wake them up, to be perfectly honest with you, so we must just deal with it. But it's not easy. It's very, very hot. Laika and Olivia, you're from the UK. Very good to hear from you too. You're asking, are wild dogs dangerous? No, they're absolutely not dangerous. I'm guessing you're meaning to humans, because I think wild dogs probably are very dangerous to impala. So if you were to ask impala, they would probably say that they are dangerous. They're very fast. They do have sharp teeth. They have nowhere near the bite force of a hyena, but they're fast and nimble. We have viewed wild dogs on foot quite a few times here at WildEarth. Owen and myself got that pleasure, and they're not dangerous to humans. They would be curious. They would maybe come over for a little sniff, and they would maybe look at you as if to say, ooh, what on earth is this animal? But they're not dangerous. And the second part of your question was, why are they so slim? So I touched on that earlier. They're nimble and slim. They're nimble on their feet and very, very slim because they have to be. They cannot be bulky or heavy to run and have the endurance skills that they do. They need to be able to run very, very fast, which is why they're so exhausted, in order to hunt by coursing and catch their prey. So if they were bulky and chunky like a leopard, and the leopards are chunky, Tsangana's a big, big leopard, then they wouldn't be able to run fast. So it's a trade-off. And that's why they are so slim. They're designed, well, they are equipped for running very, very fast, which is why we often struggle to keep up with them. You may not believe it because they're so flat right now, but they can be very, very difficult to keep up with. Flutterby, you're asking, love the name by the way, do wild dogs talk? Actually, Natalie, you'll have to repeat that question. Bark, sorry. Well, yeah, talk. I wasn't too far off. Wild dogs actually have a range of vocalizations, and it's not barking, I'm afraid. So no, they don't bark like domestic dogs, but the vocalization of an African wild dog is very, very unusual. They have a range of chattering sounds. It sounds like they're chattering, high-pitched chattering, and also the sort of iconic long-distance greeting call, which is a hoo. And it almost sounds, if you had no idea it was coming from a wild dog, I think you would think it was coming from a bird. Hoo, 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 hoo. And they're obviously not responding right now because I don't sound anything like a wild dog. But it's something like that, and it can be heard over great distances, especially on colder days. But normally, on average, you can hear that hoo, up to 4 kilometers away. So there's no barking, but they do have a range of vocalizations. But during the hunt itself, it's worth noting that they're completely silent. They're very, very silent hunters. And that's because they have to be They don't want to alert anyone that they're approaching. They're fast, and this is why you will rarely see an impala alarm calling at wild dogs, because there's no time. As soon as they get that whiff in their nostrils of urine, or they spot that mottled pattern running at them, the impalas have got to run. There's no time to waste. They can't hang around, and that's why they don't stand an alarm call as they would do at other predators, be it lion or leopard. I'd love for you to hear the whoo noise. It's a gorgeous sound. Micah, you're in Oklahoma. Howdy. You're asking a very difficult question, because how big are they compared to domestic dogs? There's so many different types of domestic dogs that it would be impossible to answer that question. So I'll give you a dog breed that I think they're the most similar to. I would say that an African wild dog is probably similar in size to a normal fox, the red fox that you get in the UK, and a border collie. That's what I would say that an African wild dog is similar to. Not the same, because you obviously don't really see African or domestic dogs this sort of body shape. Long legs and very, very petite body, huge ears. But I think I would go for a fox or a border collie. I hope that answers your question, Micah. But they're very, very petite. Tall, but petite. And they're not as long as leopards are either. They're much shorter. I think they go to about 75 centimeters in shoulder height, so that's under a meter. So it's probably around 2.5 feet, I think. I just made that calculation up, but I'm going to guess it's somewhere around that. And they only weigh between 20 to 30 kilograms. The males will be heavier than the females, but really, I mean, that's not heavy compared to the likes of your lions and leopards and hyenas. A female hyena like Ribbon will weigh about 90 kilograms, so that's almost 200 pounds, whereas these guys will be around 45 pounds. I'm getting better at my conversions. It's only taken me almost 2 years. Natalie's saying, good job, Lauren. Thank you, Natalie. I'm very proud of myself too. So we're, of course, going to sit here baking in the sun as we watch our gorgeous dogs snooze. And we're going to send you guys all the way across to andBeyond in Ngala to see what Sean is up to.
So you all missed our...
You're back with us. Sorry about that. I don't quite know what's happening at Ngala today, but they do seem to be having problems with signal. Maybe the gremlins have ran all the way from Djuma and they're trying to attack poor Marcel and Sean at Ngala. I do apologize about that. And of course, Ngala is the word for lions, and the Shangaan word for wild dogs is madash. So if I was to call these wild dogs on the radio, I would say there's a pack of madash. I would say Ngala for lion and Ingwe for leopard. Ingwe. Yes, I probably haven't got the correct pronunciation, but Ingwe is leopard. I just wish I could get a count. I imagine it'll be the exact same individuals that James had earlier. That it would still be nice to get a number. I mean, it's really not going to be possible from here. And I always say, if I had to be any predator, any apex predator, it's a tough one. But I think I would choose hyena or wild dog. I love the social dynamics. Hyenas sometimes win on that hypothetical question because, of course, it's a matriarchal society. So I would benefit a lot from being a hyena. Owen wouldn't. But I love the social dynamics of these dogs. Oh, someone is summoning me. Standing by.
Are you still going to go to Chitwa?
Negative, sorry, I'm with the dogs.
No problem, okay, thanks.
That was James, just in case you didn't recognise the voice. I still haven't made it to Chitwa yet. Owen and I set off to go to Chitwa yesterday because I haven't been in so long, and we bumped into Hukamori. And then we never made it there. One day I will get to Chitwa. The animals keep stopping me and interrupting my plans. How rude. How rude. People have actually attempted to tame wild dogs, believe it or not. They are not domestic dogs or closely related, but people have tried to tame them. But it's really never been successful. They're naturally distrusting of humans, as they should be. Not necessarily scared of humans, but distrusting of us. And they're really distrusting of any animal out with their pack. That's another thing I love of them. You really won't find wild dogs forming any sort of relationships with any other animal, including us, Homo sapiens. And they run great distances, great home ranges, great hunting ranges, and those characteristics show even as young pups. So really, any sort of attempt that has been made to tame or domesticate wild dogs has just never, ever worked. Wild dogs do not display any of the same traits that domestic dogs do. They don't appear to like to be touched by humans, which of course man's best friend do. My beagle gets very upset when you stop rubbing her and gives you that look and then paws you until you continue doing what you were doing. Wild dogs, from all the examples where they have tried to domesticate them, really don't appear to enjoy the touch of man. I can't wait till they get up. I've got my camera at the ready. Megan, great question. So the sort of social dynamics of a wild dog pack consists of the alpha pair. That's the most important pair in the pack, and they are the ones that will mate. They're the breeding pair, and all other individuals are normally related in some way. And it's the alpha pair that they are supporting. So they will support all breeding efforts, and they will assist in raising the pups. So it's really, really important that they have these tight bonds, they have this cohesive structure. So there's not any other rank than the alpha pair. There's sometimes said to be a beta pair. And there's lots of evidence where beta pair, a beta male and a beta female have actually mated and produced pups. And there's evidence that the alpha pair can sometimes kill those pups, which sounds rather sad, but there's also evidence of the alpha pair just adopting those pups and letting them be part of the pack. But the alpha pair are really the ones that do most of the scent marking, and they're the most important ones. They're the leader of the pack, literally. But the ones under that are not ranked in any way, and they all support the breeding effort of the alpha pair. They're said to be the most structured social, well, they have the most structured social order of all carnivores. It borders on altruistic, actually, a wild dog pack. I love my instruction from Natalie here. I am going to try and send you guys all the way back across to Sean for an update. Let's see how we go this time.
As I was trying to say to you earlier, We did our little drive in the river. Me and Marcel had a wonderful time. Didn't see all that much though, so we have decided to make our way towards a waterhole. So now it is starting to cool down very, very slightly, but over the next couple of minutes to an hour, it will cool down a lot. We'll start getting a bit more activity, animals going down to drink before they find a place to rest for the night. So we thought that might be our best bet to find some animals. So right now there's a lot of things in the shade. And we passed one water hole, one impala there having a drink. We also saw a little terrapin, but he darted away as we came close. A few more impalas. A beautiful day. Hot, but a beautiful day. Oh look, here's a buffalo. Let's have a look at this buffalo. Quite a detailed question from Megan. Megan's wanting to know what training we go through. So let's use this, Megan. So now we look at this buffalo. So in our training, what they do is there's 2 phases of training, at least 4 to work for andBeyond. 2 phases of training. And in the first phase, you practice things like this. So you drive up to a buffalo or whatever animal you find. And, if you're the one driving, then you're the one that starts the sort of discussion. So you get there, you're like, oh, look, guys, there's a buffalo. And then you say, look what it's doing. And we call it point out what you see. So you look at it and you go, okay, so you see this buffalo's by itself. So now that most likely then tells us it's a male buffalo. Because female buffaloes would be in a herd. So now we know it's a male. You can see he's got different colors on him. He's pale on the top and a bit darker underneath. So that would tell us that he's been in some water. As we said, it's a very hot day. So a lot of the training is to be able to teach you how to give guests or viewers like yourself the experience, the wildlife experience. It's not just me sitting here saying, it's a male buffalo, he weighs 800 kilograms, he's old, he's a ruminant, he chooses food multiple times. It's not just me listing a whole bunch of facts. So a lot of the training is to make it an interactive experience. It's reading the animal's behavior. So this buffalo, he's walking away, he's not running away from us, so we're not chasing him, we're merely following him. So his behavior is very relaxed. So it's reading animals' behavior, it's interpreting that to guests. It's making you feel like you part of the experience, you seeing things for yourself, making sure you're having a good time. A lot of the trainings like that, they train us to drive without looking at the road. What other things do they teach us? Obviously all the animal information you have to learn in terms of how to age the buffalo, how to, sort of sex the animals, how to interpret their behavior again. So you're learning all of that information, what they eat, how much they weigh, how long gestation is, their life cycles, things like that. So it's a lot of information. But the nice thing is, when you first start out, so the buffalo is just heading into more thicker areas. So we're not going to follow him in there because then we might start chasing him. So we're going to head back towards the road. But when you start out, you know a little bit about a lot of things. So, if people do ask you questions, you do have a bit of information that you can share with them. And then the longer you work here, the more questions you get, the more detailed those questions are, and then the more you learn. Most of what I know, I learned on the job. It's guests or viewers asking a question, Sean, like a hard question, and then I have to go and I have to research it. And then you learn. And you say to your guests, I'll let you know a little bit later. And then you go research, and then the afternoon drive, you say to them, remember this morning we were discussing this? Well, I read up, and this is what I learned. And then you remember that. So a lot of the training is just basic foundation level stuff. How to keep guests entertained when there's not much happening. How to drive the car, use the rifle, things like that. And then all the important stuff, all the detailed stuff, you will learn on the job. Well, that's how andBeyond trains you. We train to give you an interpretive experience, not to just list facts for you. And it's very fun. And the training it's a lot of fun. You make some lifelong friends there. You learn a lot. Not about the animals, just you also learn a bit about yourself, making friends, keeping friends, how to deal with people. So even if you don't want to be a ranger, or you're not sure if you want to be a ranger, do the training. It's very cool. And you also just gather a lot of knowledge about soils, grass, trees, birds, the sky, the weather, the clouds, the stars. So it's all very interesting stuff. Here we got some zebras up ahead. You can see the sort of four there trying to get in some shade in the middle. But let's slow down here. We don't want to chase them. There's a little baby zebra there. You can see the one on the left. There it is, that little one on the side. Still quite fluffy. As this one moves off the road, we'll go a little bit closer. There's one at the back of those. Oh, I thought he had some scars on his right leg there, but it's just wrinkles, not scars. Because often on zebras, they're very resilient animals. You'll find a lot of them have scars, especially on the flanks, on the back, around the tail. Because obviously when a lion runs at the zebra, it runs away, and that's where the lions grab with their claws. And that's where you'll find a lot of the scars. This one I think is the male. I find it quite a challenge to sex zebras. There's very few things that differentiate a male and a female zebra. But I believe this one to be a male. He's also a lot more relaxed. You saw those females, the rest of the herd sort of move off, especially that younger one. So I think they were trying to rest in the shade here. But luckily for them, lots of big trees here. Lots of shade for them to go to. Also a bit of water further down in the river that they're most likely going to head towards. But now these are animals that become quite tricky during drought. So look at this one. Male, but look how big he is. Look how sort of fat he is, looking very healthy, very good condition. Very good question from the Pachon family, wanting to know how to defend themselves from predators. So zebras have a very, very powerful kick, and they also bite. They will bite. They mainly bite each other, but they will kick predators. Something like a lion, a leopard. If a zebra kicks a lion in the head, it can do a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. And look at this. Got another herd of buffalo. Quite a big herd of buffalo. Oh, that's lovely all around here. So very good chance that the buffalo we were following when Megan asked the question maybe came from this herd. But this herd moves a lot quicker. They're younger, mainly females, younger males. Where that male that we saw couldn't keep up with the herd, so he sort of lagged behind, stayed in the water because he was too hot. Where these ones you can see also in pockets of shade. Standing very close to the bushes, that one in the shade, the little calf next to it in the shade. I mean, you can imagine being there. These are big, sort of 600, 700, 800 kilogram animals that are black. They get hot. They get hot. These ones don't look like they've been in any water. So we've got a question from Akila wanting to know if these buffaloes are similar to the domesticated buffaloes. So now we think Akila is referring to the water buffaloes that they find sort of in Asia. And Akila, that is a very good question. Yes, I would imagine there is some sort of link between the two of them. There will be some sort of link. I don't know what it is, and that is something like we were discussing earlier. That's something I'm going to have to research, and I'll get back to you and let you know. But I imagine, yes, there is a link between them. They obviously occur in different continents. These ones have not been, well, clearly these ones aren't domesticated. These are the African buffalo, for different to the water buffalo. But I'm sure if you follow their sort of history back, you will find a commonality somewhere along the line. You can see the majority of these are females. Oh, just have a look myself. Scan on the left-hand side. We got a one-horned buffalo. A bit further to the left there. We should have a look at this one buffalo quickly. And she's actually got 2 horns. That's awkward. So now we're going to send you across to James, who has a bird.
It's a very special little bird, I think. It is the little bee eater. It's a very special bee eater. And I'm also listening to some squirrels alarm calling a little bit off towards the airstrip here at Chitwa. It could be a bird, it could be a snake, it could be a leopard. The tracks of Tundi went into Little Gowrie, which is the reserve to the south of Djuma, where we can't go. We just thought we'd come on to Chitwa and see if she hasn't come back this way. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, the squirrel's now going ballistic, so let me go forward and let's see if we can't pick something up. 2 more little bee eaters there. One little one that's shouting for its mummy to feed it. So I'm just going to carry on. Somewhere around here is a very angry squirrel. Just listen. Still up ahead. It's across the airstrip here. Must once again compliment Chitwa for the state of their roads, which are always like magnificent smooth highways. Impala shouting at another impala. Right, where are you, squirrel? Naturally now it is quiet. Whatever was causing it distress has disappeared. Let's drive parallel here with this airstrip. So just inside here somewhere that the squirrels were shouting. They are notoriously unreliable because I think half the time we can't understand exactly what they're saying. I think there are subtle differences in their alarm calls. I can't see anything of obvious alarm calling note here. Just go this far and then I think we'll turn around and head back a little bit. Not seeing anything in here. From the pied Shawn family, is that correct? The pied Shawn? The pied Shawn. The pied Shawn family. I want to know if all birds migrate. No, they don't all migrate at all. About 50% of the birds we get here migrate, half of them. Some of them are intra-African migrants. Some of them are Palearctic migrants. So some stop kind of at the base of the Sahara. Things like the woodland kingfisher, a lot of the cuckoo species. What else is an intra-African migrant? Wahlberg's eagles. And then there are lots of Palearctic migrants which will go into Europe and or Asia. The steppe eagle is a good example of that. The European bee-eater, the barn swallow, those sorts of birds. But lots and lots of birds stay here. And the reason that a high percentage will stay here is that, it never really gets that cold here. And so, as long as half the population goes off to the north for the duration of winter, there's enough to eat for the rest. But if half didn't go off to summer in Europe, well, then it would probably be lean times. I still think it's quite lean times for those that don't go, but there's always you've got to weigh up the risk in Europe or the Palearctic versus hanging around here and not having so much to eat. But the risk of going to Europe, of course, is that, well, it's a huge trip and there are many perils on the way there. And so although the rewards are great, the risks too are quite great. And that is why not all birds have evolved to do it. And obviously for those that do migrate, they've found that it is of usefulness. And it's mostly the insect eaters and raptors that go off. I can't think of a great number of seed eaters that bother to migrate. In fact, off the top of my head, I can't think of one seed eater that migrates. Lots of shorebirds migrate, lots of insect eaters, quite a few raptors, but I can't think of a seed eater. We'll just gently cruise along here, and then I think we'll head to Chitwa Waterhole. Mahandri, you're wondering when to go to the park. Mahandri, it really depends on what you want to see. If you want to see a lot of animals, then the best time is probably to go in September, October, maybe November. But then you're going to be very hot. If you want to see quite a few animals, but be prepared to put up with the winter, then yes, the winter is a good time. June, July, August, very good time. This time of year is very nice weather-wise, but as you can see, the bush is very thick. And because the bush is very thick, it makes the game viewing a little tricky. But you can still see great stuff. And then if you go in spring, November, December time, January even, there are lots of little baby animals around. You might get rained on, but it's very beautiful to see it all green and lush and lovely. So it really does depend what you want to see. I see you to have given a lot of answers today that have required me to say, it really does depend. It really does depend. Those are really the best kinds of questions, though, aren't they? Not much going on here. So let's go back to the wild hounds with Lauren.
The wild hounds are not so wild right now. Still snoozing. I did just mention to Owen, though, it's definitely getting cooler. Maybe not by much, but it's not as stifling as it was. I really do think that shortly they're going to get up and I need to be ready. I'm currently relaxing, but I do need to be ready. Everyone, I should introduce you to Dinsho. Dinsho's my wild dog. He's actually always on the vehicle. I just never show you him because I feel, once you start putting charm into something, it's a bad move. Dinsho's always on my vehicle. And Dinsho is Amharic, which is one of the local languages of Ethiopia for honey. And you bring me a lot of luck, don't you? So I've got my mascot here. As we're watching the real hounds, I've got my fake fluffy hound in my lap. And I just said, let's introduce Dinsho to you all. But he is always here. He's always been here. I just didn't want to make it a thing. Once you start having a lucky charm, things can go so wrong. But yes, it's getting nice and cool, especially now that the sun has moved on and I are also getting some shade, which is delightful. So I think I'm anticipating, could be wrong, that they'll go to Buffelshoek Dam first for a drink after lying in a hot, hot sun. And then they'll be mobile and then they'll be ready to hunt. And dogs hunt quick, dogs hunt fast, there's no waiting. But an interesting thing I wanted to mention, so with specific mammals that have an alpha pair, the other animals don't mate, but naturally they will have hormones, they will have biological drives, they will have urges, shall we say. So what is it that actually stops the other dogs from mating? There's males and females. What is it that stops them? And there's lots of studies done on this. It's called reproductive suppression. And it's not fully understood how the other dogs in wild dog packs don't mate, but they believe that it's possibly on a behavioural level. So reproduction in wild dogs is seasonal, it's annual as well, and the females are generally monoestrous. However, you will see sort of really low levels of fertile mating occurring throughout the year, but essentially the females are said to be monoestrous, and evidence suggests that it's all done on behaviour. So the alpha pair act dominant and the rest act submissive. Just like in hyenas, if you like, you know where you sit in the realm of your pack. So it's not quite a hierarchy as such, or the same as the proverbial ladder that we like to speak about in hyenas, but they know where they sit. There's also sort of thoughts that, is it hormone related? Are the... Oh, hello, there's more of you on Buffalo's Cutline. I didn't know that. I'm going to move, everyone, because I need to get ready if these dogs are going to go on the move. So bear with me. I will come back to that point. Oh, there's lots of greeting. What I was trying to say, it's not fully known. Is it hormone related? Maybe if you're an alpha pair, you'll have more testosterone or more estrogen. And maybe if you're not the alpha pair, you will have less so, and that doesn't drive you to mate. Is it pheromone related? Is it in the pheromones? Wild dogs are highly olfactory, as are your felids, as are your cats. So it's still not really understood why the other dogs in a pack don't mate. And it's fascinating, but it is currently believed that it's on a behavioural level. Oh, look at them go. They're so happy to see each other. Everybody's awake. Some have gone into Buffelshoek. I'm slightly concerned. I want them to go to the dam. Come on, guys, go to the dam. Can you hear them? That's the chattering sound, chattering. To push them into Buffelshoek, but I also don't want to lose. Oh no, he's coming towards us.
It's my house with WildEarth.
Standing by.
Journey done.
You're welcome. They're mobile now. They're on the cut line.
I copy that with the visual, thanks.
Okay, everyone, I'm going to try and keep up with my doggies, and we are going to send you across to Sean and see what he's up to.
So we're still sitting here with the buffaloes. You can see a lot of them still lying down. We've seen a bit more activity though. They are starting to get up as it's cooling down. Some of them are moving around. Heading further down, you can see down the road there. They're heading there into the thickets, into more trees, a little bit of shade now, carrying on feeding. But we did see one that walked past and it only had one horn, so I wasn't seeing things. There's one. It looked like quite a fresh wound. It's a little bit seeping down her face, but she's joined with those two lying in the grass on the right there. So you can actually see it right now. Just lying down in the long grass. But I'm hoping we're going to spend some time here, see if she gets up. I've seen a lot of young calves moving and walking around. See the one in the middle of the road there? That's one of the calves. It's got sort of the straighter horns. There's one just off to the left there. Yeah, two calves there together now. But it's quite a surprise. You know, a lot of these ones that are now sort of up have moved more into the sun. So Liam, who's living in France, these buffaloes have birds on them. So the birds are oxpeckers. Now the oxpeckers will actually clean the buffaloes. They're also on the zebras that we saw earlier. And they pick off all the ticks and the little fleas and the insects. So at the moment, they are helping the buffaloes. Sort of keeping them clean, taking everything off. And they also sometimes, those birds will sleep on the buffaloes. And then they act a bit like a early warning system. So they will alert while the buffaloes are sleeping. If the birds see a predator or anything like that, they will call and fly away. And then the buffaloes know, oh, there's something here that scared the birds, and they wake up. So it's a symbiotic relationship as long as the buffaloes are healthy. As soon as one of these buffaloes gets an injury, then these birds, they're actually vampiric. They're going after the blood. So if they get an injury, the buffalo, then the birds will constantly peck at the injury to get to that fresh blood. And that's obviously not good for the wound. It then takes so much longer to heal because these birds keep pecking off the scars. So as long as the buffaloes are healthy and they don't have any wounds, the birds are very good. As soon as one of these buffaloes gets injured, the birds just constantly peck at it. And it's not very good. I'm going to show you a picture. If you look in the book over here. So these two birds at the bottom, these are the oxpeckers. This is the red-billed oxpecker. This is the one that we most commonly see on andBeyond in Ngala. And then if you're very lucky, you might see a yellow-billed oxpecker. You can see the only difference is the color. This one's got a bit of yellow. This one's all red. Also, the eyes are different colors. But this one is... Oh, there we go. So orange. There's your answer, the difference between the birds. So the beak color is different. And then the eye color is also different. You can see on the red-billed, it's purely red. On the yellow-billed, it's red. And on the red-billed, there's a bit of yellow and red. But otherwise, they both pretty much do the same thing. You know, they both sit there. They both eat the ticks. They're after the blood. You know, ticks bite you. They suck your blood. So the birds eat the ticks full of the blood. So it's more, you know, it is symbiotic, but the birds are you know, they're waiting. They're waiting for a wound. So I was quite surprised when that injured one walked past with its horn missing. There was a bit of blood there, but there were no birds sitting there. Generally there would be, maybe because it's so close to her head and she can shoo them away quite easily. That's why they're not landing there. But I'm sure when she sleeps, when she tries to sort of lie down, those oxpeckers will come in and peck at her wound. But you'll find them on the buffaloes, the zebras, the giraffe, kudu, impalas, all of those sorts of animals. You know, the only one that you rarely see them on, obviously any predator, and then elephants. You don't often see the oxpeckers on elephants. Well, I think you don't ever. Most likely because the elephants have the trunk, long tail, they can swish and flick the birds away. The trunk's very, you know, dexterous, very quick. Where these buffaloes, they just shake their heads. There's not much else they can do. And that's why they stay here. It's a very important thing for us. We were talking about the training that we do earlier, and part of that training is walking. You got to walk out here. And you learn very quickly to tell the call of an oxpecker. While you're walking through this long grass, you might not see the buffaloes lying down in the grass, but you'll hear the birds. And then you know, okay, there's something in there. So you become very, very careful, very alert, or you even just walk around that whole area so that you avoid whatever it may be. And you see these guys are being very lazy. Masala and I might spend another couple of minutes here and then we're going to carry on. So in the meantime, we're going to send you back towards the wild dogs with Lauren.
They've gone flat again, which is wonderful. And this is definitely the same pack that James had at Chitwa, that then moved north from Chitwa up into Djuma. And this individual here, I'm just going to point it out, Owen, you're not going to get a great view because she's right in front of the car. I think this is a female with the injured eye, and it's her left eye, and it's quite severe. To be honest with you, it's not nice to see at all. So this is a Sands pack, and there's so many more than I actually realised there was. Half of them were sleeping on the other side of the cut line. I didn't know that. This is a Buffelshoek cut line, our northern cut line. Half of them were on Buffelshoek, half of them were on Djuma. But of course, once they all stood up, we managed to see that there was more of them. And this individual that I just pointed out is definitely the one with the injured eye. I just saw it. Poor soul. But just like Hukamuri, she'll be absolutely fine. So we're going to sit here with our dogs, and James has a magnificent bird for you all.
Right, we have got the magnificent fish eagle there. I nearly said a kingfisher. It is not a kingfisher, it is a fish eagle. And there are two of them. And ever you want to hear the call, simply Google some sort of tourism advert for South Africa, and you will definitely have a scene in which the fish eagle is calling. I quite like the call. For many it is the sort of quintessential iconic sound of Africa. Not so much for me, but for many. And they'll be checking out the scene here at Chitwa Dam, hoping desperately that they will find some fish to eat. Now, is it? What is it? No. I thought maybe it had a very full crop, and that it had been supping upon some sort of feature, but it doesn't appear to have been supping on much. Oof, what a question. The bird with the longest incubation period from Isabel, age 9, in Perth. Isabel, I don't know. I'm going to say the biggest bird, so I'm going to say it's an ostrich. But I might be wrong. Let me check what the ostrich is. Let me quickly find the ostrich in my app. Right, so we know, for example, the little grebe is about 28 days. The ostrich is 53 days, 39 to 53 days. So that's pretty long. Why don't we check out the Corey Busted?
I think it's you and Mish there.
Just quickly going to turn this down, the radio. Let me just quickly find the Corey Busted. The Corey Busted is the world's heaviest flying bird. Can't find it because I can't spell Corey, which is not that surprising. There it is. Right, the Corey Busted has a incubation period of only 25 days. So far we're looking pretty good with the ostrich. I'm trying to think of something else big-ish. Maybe one of the big raptors like a martial eagle. Should we check what that is? Now, somebody sent me a message today saying that a whole lot of martial eagles had been released where he lives, just quite near Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal, Hillcrest Kloof area, and apparently a whole lot of martial eagles were released there because it's good kind of habitat for them, and they are, unfortunately for the residents of those places, starting to take advantage of dogs and cats in the area. And while I suppose relatively amusing hearing that, it must be utterly horrendous for the owners of the pets to have A giant eagle swooping into the garden and absconding with your dog, your beloved Chihuahua. Burmese. And we're getting a message from Natalie in the final control that says her family's neighborhood has been personally affected. Natalie, have you lost a pet to a martial eagle? Natalie's aunt lost a kitten to a martial eagle. Martial eagle has an incubation period of 53 days, so that wasn't too bad either. I'm just going to check one more, and then I'm going to stick on ostrich. I'm going to check out a vulture, like the Cape vulture, because they nest on cliffs, and they can afford to have relatively long incubation periods because they're on cliffs, so they're pretty safe. Cape vulture. We know lots about Cape vultures. 60 days, or 56 to 59 days. Okay. Right, we're going to head out of Chitwa now. The wild dogs are standing up, so you go back over to them.
They're doing all sorts of things, from yawning to sniffing to smelling, then going flat again, then going back up again. Hello. Going right in front of our car. It's right in front of the car. Sniffing something. Micah from Oklahoma again. Oh, that was a male. That's a male that just came to the car there. You are asking, do wild dogs have any predators that they have to look out for? Yes, they do. Lions being the main one. Lions will attack wild dogs. We have actually managed to catch a lion kill a wild dog. I think James told that story this morning or yesterday live on WildEarth, and it's incredibly sad, but lions will kill them given the opportunity. And hyenas, depending on the numbers. It's a numbers game with hyenas. If it's a lone hyena, then absolutely not. But if it's a clan of hyenas, a group of them, let's just say 5, then they would attack a wild dog. But it is a numbers game. They are very aware of one another and where they all sit in this wonderful hierarchy. And wild dogs have chased hyenas have chased wild dogs. But if there was one lone dog and a clan of hyenas, then yes, so I think they would attack a wild dog. But wild dogs are fast. They would have to catch one first. But the biggest enemy, the biggest predator, is the lions. That eye injury looks very severe. I managed to get quite a good look at it. Hopefully we can also show you. It's this female, right? Yeah, it's this one here. She's flat. We won't be able to give you a view this now, but it's quite severe. As long as there's no infection, I think she'll be fine. But it's not nice to see an animal like that. And there's no sort of veterinary care here that would intervene unless it's human caused. Hello, wakey wakey. Nope, no wakey. Me no wakey. Okay. If it's caused by humans, a snare, a road accident, a vehicle accident, accidental gunshot wound, I don't know when that would happen. It probably wouldn't happen out here. A fence, if they got trapped in a fence, then yes, there would be veterinary care that would intervene. But if it's not, you do have to let nature be nature. And it's hard. It's very, very hard, especially when it comes to wild dogs. I think it would be very circumstantial for wild dogs due to the fact that they are really endangered. I think everybody's wakening up. We've got yawning, we've got grooming, we've got playing. Tara, you're asking, do wild dogs hunt every day? Yes, they do. They are known to hunt every single day. And they they're a hyper carnivore. I went through the different levels of carnivores yesterday. They're a hyper carnivore, which means they need to sustain, I got my words muddled up there, on a diet that's more than 70% meat. They require a lot of meat, and they're said to be, Africa's most effective predator with an 80% success rate. That's 30% higher than lions. So they do require to eat every single day, and the bulk of their diet, I'm sure it's 80%, I might need to check that, but the bulk of their diet is impala. They will attack bigger game too, though. Wildebeest, kudu, waterbuck, reedbuck, even zebra. But impala's an easy one for them. It's the perfect size. It's a medium-sized antelope. Your other ones that I just mentioned are mostly larger. Impala are easy targets for dogs. Oh, very exciting. It seems like James is on fine form with his birds.
We have got a pearl-spotted owlet, and you can see the waxbill behind going absolutely insane with anger that this predator is sitting around them. This is what alerted us to the owl's presence. That's me whistling, and he's convinced. He's convinced there's another owl around. Let's quickly go back, because I'm pretty sure he'll stay there. He's in the marula tree behind us. So the angry birds are what alerted us to his presence. See if he's still up here. He may have flown already from here. Oh, there he goes. There, he's now on the top of that tree. He's over here, though. That's him, you got him. That's him. Now that bird is about 8 inches long, and he's now going to be bombed by a fork-tailed drongo. The drongo will not tolerate his presence. He won't just stand there and shout at him, he'll actually go for him. Puts me in mind always of the chicken hawk. Those wonderful little cartoons with the chicken hawk. Stuck in bed, the small birds mob him because they are worried that he'll try and eat them. And so by shouting at him and saying, "Go away," in not a very polite manner, he'll hopefully go away and then not sneak up on them while they're not looking and try and eat them. A little bird like this will happily eat a waxbill, will happily eat something as big as a kingfisher, but he'll need the element of surprise to catch them. And so a waxbill sort of shouting at him from close by is not in any great danger. Stealth is the owl's method of hunting. That's why they aren't bright green, pink and red or yellow, but rather dull colours. We'll just give him one more whistle and see what he does. Just one whistle, and his angry little face looks towards us. Now, I don't feel so bad doing it with my own whistle. I wouldn't play an app call at him. But really, he shouldn't be conned by me. The only birds you can con with a whistle. The rest don't pay any attention at all. Who's here, boy? Ali, you're wondering about the little spotted eagle owl called Sebwig that we had close to our camp nearing Christmas. He just grew up and went away, Ali. We don't know where he went, and if we were to find an eagle owl now in full adult plumage, it could be him, but they're not very easy to distinguish once they've become old. And for those of you who don't know, we watched Sebwig for such a long time. Beautiful owl, growing from this ridiculous kind of cotton wool ball puff with a small brown or small black protuberance which was his beak, all the way into a fully grown owl. That was magnificent. All right, let's go back to Lauren with the dogs.
Our dogs are getting mobile, and this can only mean one thing. They go north, we can't follow. They go south, it'll be tricky. They go to the dam, it'll be perfect. There we go. You see that injury? That's her. She also has one on the other side. Now they're heading in the direction I want them to. Good doggies. They're all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can count at least 13. Ah, there we go. This is amazing. Do you see the ticks? There's quite a lot of ticks on a lot of these dogs, which is normal. Tick load is normal. I want them to really, really go to the dam. We can watch them drinking. This is incredible. Watching all the flashes of colour. Tan, black and white, tri-coloured. They're only just stirring now, and that's 5 o'clock here in Djuma, South Africa. 5 p.m. in the evening. Some of them are more awake than others, shall we say. But no one will want to be left behind. I think I'm going to try and edge forward one. I think this is the perfect time to just go forward. I don't want to block the view for anyone, but we may be able to just see what's going on here. Yep, they're all going to get ready to move. There's no time to waste here. Are you ready to follow on? Just making sure we're not. Oh wow, they're really smelling the tires of the vehicle. Mish is going to be a very happy man. Hi, Mish. Wow, look at them all just walking down the road. Can you see that? Oh, and look at them. I'm just going to pull up here and then let them all walk down the road. Once I get over this bump. Now that is magnificent. not entirely sure positioned in the best way there for another vehicle, as we're surrounded by vehicles at the moment. I think I might roll, Owen. Sorry, Natalie, one more time. I was just communicating with other vehicles. I don't want to block the entire road. One more time, Natalie. Deanna, we actually went through that earlier quite extensively. No, wild dogs cannot be domesticated. There's been attempts, but none of them have been successful. They're not related to domestic dogs and they cannot interbreed with domestic dogs, and no attempt to tame them has actually been successful. Now, I've not turned my engine on. I'm doing a very good job of rolling here. I'm complimenting myself. I just need to make sure there's enough space for everybody else. They're deciding where to go. I obviously know where I want them to go. They know where the dam is. They will know exactly where they are, and they will know exactly where the dam is. And I think they're heading that way. See, just up that ditch there, that's where Buffelshoek Dam is. It'd be so glorious to see them at the dam as the sun is going down in that golden glow. Just going to turn my engine on now, Owen. Once you lose dogs, you lose dogs. Yeah, we're just filming, so you go up ahead just now and we'll cut it.
Get a picture of them as they go over the crest with the light.
You did?
No, I'll say I'd like to.
Okay, yeah, on you go. Sorry about that. Hopefully we'll still have a view. They don't look like they're turning into Buffelshoek Dam as we speak. We may have to leapfrog here. Perfect. We're going to leapfrog, work it between us, be fair to everyone who do that. We will send you guys across to Sean.
So my son and I, still on the search. We went back into the river, so we saw tracks of a female leopard, but they turned out to be old tracks. So we're carrying on with our plan, heading towards the waterhole. Now you'll see sun setting in, not too long, off to our left here. We're going to head to the waterhole. Hopefully, hippos are there. Beautiful sunset. Spend some quality time around there. See what we can see. The guys are still tracking those lions. They've been moving quite far, sort of north and east, so up in that direction off to the front of the vehicle. That's where the tracks are heading. So they're going to go check one more road and see, because they're also running out of light. You don't want to be tracking a pride of lions in the dark. It's not as fun as it sounds. So hopefully they find something there. Otherwise, I'm sure we are in for a beautiful, beautiful sunset tonight. Some hippos yawning. Oh, maybe some elephants drinking. It's drives like these that it's just, it's peaceful. So Spas wanted to know about the buffaloes and lions. So he wanted to know if I've ever seen lions take down a buffalo. So indeed I have. It happened last year, the end of last year. The Birmingham Pride, the lions that we're looking for, that we see here most regularly, they were all sleeping. And these two buffaloes walked past them. The buffaloes didn't know the lions were there. They walked past. And the oxpeckers, we were talking about those, the birds. The oxpeckers flew and they woke up the lions. The lions saw the buffalo. It's not far. It must have been maybe 10, 12 meters at the most. His lions saw the buffalo, and then everything just went into chaos. It was just a shambles. If you go on my Instagram, you scroll back a bit, I managed to get a couple of pictures of the whole thing from the start all the way to the end, and it is incredible. The experience is incredible to sit there and, you know, you look at a buffalo, they're very, very big. You know, they've got thick necks, big shoulders, they're massive animals. And those pride of lions, how the teamwork involved in it. I mean, at one stage, there was one lioness sort of suffocating it. She had it by the mouth like this, suffocating it. And the cubs, you know, because they were watching, they're learning. The one cub was trying to bite the buffalo, but he couldn't open his mouth wide enough. All the other females are just sort of sitting on it, trying to hold the buffalo down. So once they got it pinned on the ground, you know, it's just a matter of time. So they just lend their weight to the hunt. But it surprised me. That was my first lion hunt, successful one, that I have ever seen. And the time that it took. So once they had this buffalo on the ground, it must have taken them as maybe 10-15 minutes to actually kill the buffalo. You know, there was one lion just suffocating it, and the rest were trying to bite it. They were scratching it. The young male, my favorite lion, they go for the genitals because it's nice and soft. It was a male buffalo, and he was just biting and trying to rip off the genitals. It was actually quite hard to watch. You know, it was quite hard to watch. A number of my guests were like, "Oh, Sean," and I was like, "Yeah, it's hard. It's a lot longer than you expect." You know, you see it on Discovery, Nat Geo, and they got all the lions hunting, and then they catch it and they eat it. It's not really like that. You know, from start to finish, that whole thing is probably close on 45 minutes to where the buffalo is actually dead. And it's very difficult to watch. This is one of our tracking vehicles, well, one of the guys' vehicles. Anyway, it's very hard to watch. And over the years, I've had a number of people ask me, you know, Sean, if something had to attack you, what would you like it to be? And a lot of people are like, oh, lions. But I must say, I'd probably prefer the wild dogs that Lauren has, because it's much quicker. Yes, they eat you alive. They eat you alive, but you'll be dead in a minute, maybe two from blood loss. You'll be in shock and passed out anyway. So about a minute. Where if the lions attack you, it might take you 3 or 4 minutes to die. And in the meantime, they're biting off your genitals and, you know, they eat you from the back. It's a horrible way to go. Marcel says he'd like to go with a black mamba. A black mamba bite would be his choice. And it's true, it will be quick, but also I think it's pretty painful. It's pretty painful. I think wild dogs would be my option. Having seen both wild dogs hunt and having seen lions hunt, I would take wild dogs, which Lauren still has, and she is following them. So maybe head there, you might see a hunt. Okay, so we are at the waterhole, as you can see. So we're going to stick with me for a while because I'm just delightful. And this is our big waterhole. This is one we have been to before. We'll see what little surprises it has for us today. This stuff over here. Now this is the sort of right time of the day that we would find a number of animals coming down for a drink. You know, the elephants, maybe even some giraffe. You know, because now it's cooling down, they can come out into an open area. They can come down to an open area, but as you can see, we don't have any of those here at the moment. Me and myself, we're going to sit here, we're going to wait. In the meantime, we're going to send you now to Lauren with her moving wild dogs.
We have just had the most, I can't even speak, it was so beautiful moment with the dogs. Oh, dearie me, and now I can't drive, I'm that flabbergasted. They didn't go to the dam, I'm afraid. I was wrong. It was wishful thinking, confirmation bias that I wanted them to go to the dam. But they are just walking straight along the cut line into the sunset. It's absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay, I'm just going to try and pull up beside this vehicle so we can at least get a view. I don't know where the rest of the pack are at the minute, but I think we've got a view of about 4 of them. They turn left, they go into Djuma. They turn right, they go up into Buffelshoek. So I think what they're trying to do is listen, smell, look all around and decide which direction they want to go in. Most predators do that, especially your lions and leopard. They sit on cut lines, just listening, looking, smelling to see where the noise is, to see where the prey is. They're just running along the cut line like this. It's so much easier for them to run along a cut line than it is for them to walk off into the thicket. Because the vegetation is so dense right now, they actually save a lot of energy by walking on the roads like this. Some of them are in Djuma, some of them are in Buffelshoek. Look at that, the Northern Highway. You happy for us to go up ahead? Yeah. Just gonna go up ahead a little bit. Make sure there's room for others. There's some dogs here. I feel like I've either got a puncture or a passenger. Oh, it's the passenger, that doesn't matter. Okay, let's follow these doggies. Now, if you are enjoying our safaris, I hope you all are, all around the world, please do consider supporting us. You can head over to www.wildearth.tv/support and support us in any way that you can or wish. I'm glad I've got a passenger and not a puncture. Oh, that one popped right out in front of the car. There's dogs everywhere. Come on, doggies. Pop into Djuma. Cross into Djuma. Sand stirring up beneath their feet. They're engaged, they're alert, they'll be hungry. You see them listening, looking on both sides. Some of the pack are exploring Djuma, some are exploring Buffelshoek. Oh, and I'm going to move the car. Smell them. That smell hits you. Oh, it hits you hard. I've got a ginormous branch under the car, in case you can hear it, everyone, but I'm not stopping and I'm not getting out, so we'll have to suffer. Ah, it's gone. We call them passengers, in case anyone was wondering what I mean by passengers. That's what I mean. They obviously don't need to go to Buffelshoek Dam because they're all having a little drink here. I'm just going to pull over. I've parked really badly here, sorry. I'm just going to let the person behind us get space. Lauren and her bad parking. Naughty. They're all sniffing something there. I wonder what it is. Aiden, you're 9 years old and they hunt by coursing. And what that means is very similar to hyenas in that respect. They hunt by running. Run, run, run. That's why they're so slim. They've got the long legs and they're very light. They're very lightweight animals because they're fast. It allows them to be fast. And we call this coursing. So they just run after their prey. Sometimes the prey may panic and fall. Sometimes the prey may trip up. Or at the end of the day, they'll catch up with their prey. And they've got very sharp teeth and they'll nab at the under part of the stomach. And that's the softest part of an animal to get access to. And they'll just keep biting away. They'll surround, they'll hunt cooperatively. And some will be up ahead of the animal, some will be on the side of the animal, some will be trailing behind the animal. And that is how they hunt. With an 80% success rate. Very, very successful predators. Isn't that beautiful, seeing them walk off into the sunset like that? You just see their ears. Never-ending trail of dogs. I'm just going to let this other vehicle go up ahead for now. We'll stay framed up as long as we can because this is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Well done, Owen. Is that the last one going over the hill? And just like that, they've disappeared. It's time to follow. Now there's other vehicles up ahead. Now we're trying to give everybody their turn. It's a very busy sighting. So we may lose visual for the time being as we follow. I'm making funny faces at Mish there because he just had the most incredible sighting. Okay, I'm going to try and catch up with these doggies. And as I do that, we are going to send you guys back across to James.
We've arrived at the home of Rabone. And we're just going to wait here and see if the cubbies don't come out. She's in the position of nursing. This is her nursing position, and it's normally post-nursing that the cubs decide to show us one ear, and then we get very excited and they disappear back inside, and we leave here feeling almost as if we've been given something nice, but not quite. I'm going to reverse very slightly so that we can get a picture of their face. Yes. She looks like she's got some interesting tattoos in the inside of her ear there. Oh, she's very tired, very sleepy. And what she can hear is a large grazing animal. What on earth is she doing? So you may have seen the animal there. I mean, obviously it's impossible to avoid those of whom we do not speak all the time. And, well, there's one here. But there ain't nothing we can do about that. Lovely sighting. All right, let's go back to Lauren. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she's got some wild dogs.
Oh, I have. Oh, I have. They are being so obliging. Sans Pack, I'm so thankful for you. Wild dogs, in my opinion, I'm not sure everyone would say the same, are the most difficult animals to follow out here. Really. Very challenging. But they're being very obliging. Look at them. But one thing I am interested in is that the sun is definitely starting to go down, and you'll rarely find wild dogs active once that sun's gone down. They are primarily diurnal. So if they do want to hunt, they have to hunt quick. And they have to decide where they want to go down for the night. I hope it's Djuma. My neighbour in vehicle hopes it's Buffelshoek. But seriously, they will have to find a spot to rest. They're not nocturnal predators as your lions and leopards are. This is magical. Natalie's asking me to count. I have no idea. They're so mobile. I really don't know. Viewers, help me. How many do we have here? Have you counted? 12. 12. Okay, there you go. Perfect, 12 dogs. And I had that pack of 22 down at Chitwa once. That was incredible, the Hamilton's pack. But this is 12, the Sands pack. Oh, something spooked those ones. They're easily spooked as well, dogs. It could possibly just be a vehicle noise. Or it could be something else. They know where they sit. All predators have unique specializations that allow them to sort of fit into their specialized niche. And wild dogs absolutely know where they sit on this hierarchy. Something spooked them in that direction. They don't want to continue that way. I wonder if they heard something. They definitely heard something. This cut line goes on for quite some time. We're almost at Gowrie cut line. So they have to make a decision on which way they want to go. Natalie, can you spell that, please? I have absolutely no idea what you are saying. Wynand? I hope I got that right. If not, I'll give it my best shot. And you're asking, are the wild dogs led by a matriarch? As hyenas are, I guess. No, they're not. They're led by an alpha pair. An alpha breeding pair, and the male and female will be literally they're all walking towards us, the leaders of the pack. Something really spooked them in that other direction. They didn't want to go that way anymore. I think they heard something. I think they possibly heard a leopard or a lion. They're all coming right to the car.
more cooling.
They're all coming right back to us. They're all going to come in front of the car. Wow, hello. Hey, doggies. They just ran right past our car. They're running in the opposite direction. Okay, we're going to try and reposition those other vehicles around here too. And as we do that, you guys are going back across to the old matriarch Ribon. What did you...
Unfortunately, Ribbon has now put her head behind a bush. Maybe if we go back, maybe just try and go back. Feeding was finished, as those others went past, those of whom we do not speak. Is that better? Yes? Now, she's in perfect position for the little blighters to come out, have a feed and a play at the same time. Will this be the night that the whole bodies are revealed to us? Or will we sit here once again in deep frustration? Stay tuned to find out. The ribbon moves thousands of flies from her nose, ears, front legs. Gerard, aged 9, you're wondering how to differentiate this hyena from the wild dogs, which slightly makes me wonder whether you've been watching the whole afternoon or not. Gerard, that animal there looks nothing like an African wild dog. It's a totally different color. Its ears are a totally different shape. Its mouth is a totally different shape. It really, if you put them next to each other, you really wouldn't confuse them. So this is a spotted animal. The wild dogs are sort of camouflage colored, browns, blacks, whites, beautiful colors. They are much more slightly built than this. This is a heavy animal. The wild dog is a very slight animal. Yeah, no, we're lucky because we've got them both today. And so the next time we cross over to Lauren, just have a close look, and you'll see that really they don't look anything alike. She's looking around, and I'm ever hopeful, of course. That ear is so mangled. Shame. Oh well, I don't think it's harmed her life at all. She's managed to take over the matriarchy of the famed Djuma clan with no troubles whatsoever. apparently we're going to go over to Sean now at Ngala, and he is going to do a quick segment.
Okay, so the sun has set, temperature has dropped substantially. I don't know if you can see over here, but I got my heater on over there. Try and keep my hands warm. But we're hoping that this cooler weather is going to bring some activity to andBeyond Ngala. Bring us some action, some sort of predator my soul wants. Right now we'll settle for a white-tailed mongoose. We're having lots of honey badger conversations. Marcel's latest thing was, imagine a honey badger the size of a hyena. We both think it's going to be an apex predator if that ever happens. But instead, here we are looking. But it is incredible, I say to myself now, how quickly that temperature changes. As soon as that sun went below the mountains, the temperature just plummeted by 7-8 degrees. It's actually getting very, very cold. It's going very cold night, no clouds in the sky. So nothing to keep and trap in that heat. I think this morning they were talking about predators and hunting and the weather, the effect that has. And it has a major effect. You know, the darker it is, the more hunting there is. And it sounds like Lauren has got those wild dogs on the move. So you can send you over to that side. A little bit of action.
We've got crazy Franklin alarming, and they're on Djuma, everyone. They're on Djuma. Hold on a second. Standing by.
Michelle can help you. She might be live. Mish, are the dogs calling there? Yeah, that's affirmative. Bulk of the pack went west on the road, and then there was one or two that headed
I'm just listening.
Djuma
This is
near
important.
Bullswick Dam, and they called. That's correct, but they've now joined up. I think Lauren and Vernon are with them at the present time on Hyena Road, that area. Okay, I just had calls.
Okay, there's lots of dogs calling, and that was why they actually ran back towards our vehicle, and we got that gorgeous visual. They were responding to other calls. I don't know who's calling. Everybody's trying to figure it out, but we are on Djuma right now, everyone, and that's great news. That's what I wanted. But they're very mobile, so we are going to have to try our very best to keep up with them. They're on the move. They're traveling towards Central. Now, they love quarantine. Dogs love quarantine. It's a perfect place for dogs to hunt. Lots of impala as well. So I wonder if they'll make it that far. I really don't know. I have no idea. But you can see they're listening. They're on the move. They're moving constantly. We'll try and get a little bit closer. Wild dogs are very relaxed around the vehicle, I find. Ooh, smell that, Owen. Oh. Oh no, if they go off-road, this is going to be a struggle for us. It's so thick being summer right now that this will be a struggle. Sienna actually mentioned this are diurnal, which means daytime hunters. They're primarily daytime hunters. Diurnal is a word that we use for that. Nocturnal is a word that we use for nighttime. So nighttime hunters. So wild dogs will go down shortly after the sun is set, and they will sleep. They're not like lions or leopards. They will go down once that sun is also gone down. Are you looking at your own reflection there? Yes, you are beautiful. I can tell you that. So yes, they're very active during the day. They do sleep in the sort of really hot midday window. That's normally when they do sleep, because it's too hot for any animal, really. But other than that, they're very much diurnal animals. Okay, they're heading off. Let me roll forward on and see. Once I lose these dogs... Do you think we can get over here? Okay, this is going to be tricky, everyone. I'm going to try and not crash, but let's try. We made it. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to follow these dogs. I think we should pop out. Okay, I need to figure this out, everyone, I'm afraid. I need to figure out where I'm going to go in order to follow them. Natalie, I think that was for the wrong person. Yeah, let's get out of here and go round. Alrighty, I'm gonna try and hopefully find these dogs. It may not be possible. Wish me luck. As I do that, you get back across to James.
We heard the other dogs, I think the ones that are trying to find the rest of the pack. We were sitting at the hyena den. I heard the whooping. Ribbon lifted up her head, got off and moved, and she's headed off in this direction here. So she obviously thinks something's going on. And this is a roundabout where Trishala thought that she'd lost them this morning. So this is the road called Ingwe Alley. Sounded like they were probably a bit further away than this, so keep an eye on the dam cam. I'm listening to the game drive radio as well. Oh, well, here's a little cameo link we're going to do.
Lauren, you copy?
It's a good time to just stop and listen. There we go. Hi guys, did you hear the dogs? Did you hear them?
Where exactly on the coastline are you?
Sorry everybody, it's impossible with this radio. I'm just going to sit and listen for the dogs while we wait with these beautiful elephants. See if they call again. It's the most haunting call. And we've been lucky enough to hear it in the last 2 mornings. Oh, what have you seen, guys? What's going on? They've seen a predator. No, they've heard something. There's another elephant up ahead calling. And this one is just relieving itself in case it needs to beat a hasty retreat. Yeah, what's that in there? There's more elephants. Yeah, they're just more elephants. That's the kind of reaction they'd have if they saw a predator as well. Maybe it's just a herd they don't like. Maybe it's the Joneses and they don't like the Joneses. Alright, quickly across to Lauren, who's got hyenas. There's Ribbon.
Right.
We have got hyenas. We're going to give you a brief visual and then we're going to race to another sighting of dogs. They're on the cut line. They're following the dogs. We lost that pack, but we're on our way to another sighting. Apparently there's a carcass and other dogs. We're not sure what pack this is from. They're just up here. They're very close to us. So we are going to find, I think there's talk that it might be from the same pack. I don't know. So we're just going to head there right now and see what is going on. We're racing down the line. There's 3 dogs apparently and some hyenas. So we just wanted to give you a visual. There was actually 3 hyenas there, but we only got to show you 1. So here we are. We're at the spot. Let's just see what we can find. I'm going to slow down naturally. Apparently there's 3 dogs, lots of hyenas, and there's talk of a possible carcass in here.
Sorry about that. We've also got hyenas now charging up through here, possibly towards some other dogs. Here they come. Right next to us here. Here comes Ribbon, I think. And they're making the elephants scream. There are elephants in here, and every time they see the hyenas, the elephants start going. I don't like it. Here they are. I think we'll just follow them. Go, guys. Come on now. Find us the dogs. We don't want to chase them, obviously. We just want to gently go behind them at the same speed. It always looks like they're slightly awkward at running, but they aren't. They'll run like that forever. They've heard something, and I wonder if those dogs didn't kill. Look at them. I know this isn't a great... It's not going to be a steady picture if we zoom in on them. Well, they're now having either a little fight or a play. One's got the tail up, one's got the tail down. Isn't this great, watching them run like that? I'm sorry about the bumpy picture, but if we want to zoom in on them, it's going to be like that while we move. Not too bad. Right, where are you going, guys? Coming down the way. I think they're going to go straight towards the dam cam. There they go. It's Ribbon on the right, leading the charge. Interestingly, her tail down, the other one's tail's up. Okay, let's move. They won't take this little track down towards that waterhole in front of Tumbeta camp. Right, let's go back to Lauren. She's caught up with some other hyenas.
We've got three hyenas wandering through the thicket, and the dogs came in this direction. The dogs are running fast. I don't know what's going on here, but I do know the lions have killed a giraffe on Buffelshoek. Now, that'll be the Talamatis, but we've got one hyena, two hyena, three hyena, all following their noses. They're going somewhere. It would not surprise me if they were following the scent of the dogs. They're not running anywhere fast, but they're onto something. I think they would have heard them calling. The dogs were whoo, 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 whoo. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Look, it's starting to run. I don't know where they are. It's far too dark for me to... We've lost a lot of ambient light, so I can't tell you who these hyenas are, I'm afraid. But this is very exciting. I love me some hyenas. Where are you guys going? I'll try. We're on the fire break now, so we'll be able to see them. Would love to get an ID if any of you can. But hyena bums, there we go. Hyena bums is not really what we need. We need their sides. So that pack either split or there's other dogs. I really don't actually know the answer, but they were running. And I don't quite know where they've ran to. Completely lost them. This is so exciting. It's been a really exciting drive. And oh, there's another one. We've got 4 hyenas. We've got 4. Might be able to get a spot pattern of this one. There's definitely 4. They're following dogs. They're following the scent. But it would not surprise me if they do pick up on the scent of this giraffe carcass up in Buffelshoek, which is, of course, a property we can't traverse, I'm afraid. So we can't go there. But if they get wind of that, they will completely follow. Where are you guys going? They're going back to the cut line. Hello. I see you all. Yes, I do. They're running, look. Oh my goodness, hyenas everywhere. It appears that Mr. Hendry has some hyenas of his own.
So here are our 2 hyenas. They're heading down towards the Djuma Dam. We're in infrared, in case you're wondering, while we're in black and white. Oh, and there's another one now on the top of the dam wall. I'm going to move quickly. They've definitely heard something. I wonder if they're not... Oh, the dogs are on the dam cam, are they? Is that what she said?
Yep.
So the wild dogs are just over here. So there's a hyena on the dam wall. What was that? I can't tell what's going on now. It was a hyena, not the wild dogs. So there's another hyena now on the dam wall here, and these two have got to be in their bonnet. I'll just stop over here. There go these two. There's something fiddling around in the water as well. Probably the hippo. It's exciting. You know, they'll probably meet up with Lauren's hyenas. And quite possibly all the dogs as well. Because I think we're heading pretty much in their direction. This is just the stick-playing hippo currently in the water. The hyenas are as gobsmacked by it as we are. Stop here a second. Oh, fascinating. So they're all trying to listen, trying to figure out what's going on. I can't see anything else going on at the dam other than hearing the hippo breaching every so often. The same mind as me, that they've gone past where they heard the dogs calling. Where are they? Where? Shame, they don't want to walk past us, we're too close. There, they're calling again. They're going to run now. Dogs are calling on Gary Catline. All calling. Sounds like dogs calling on Gary Catline. Hyena's just a bit reticent to go past us. That's why she's... Sorry, my girl. It's Ribbon. She knows us so well. She's looking at the hippo. He's playing with his stick. We can't see him. I can just make him out. But I also can't move. I'm pretty sure the dogs are close by, just around the corner here, actually. Just where these hyenas. I don't know why they're not following up on the dogs. Go ahead. Lauren calling me. I'm on Djuma Dam wall. Yeah, apparently hyenas coming this way with Lauren from the Gari Cut Line, which is the road just parallel to where these guys are going. So it's Ribbon and Comet with us apparently. How exciting, hey? It's so great following our hyenas like this. You know, we used to do it in the Mara all the time, and it just doesn't happen that much here. They seem to go out foraging relatively late, and then they back at the den sort of dawnish. but they don't ever go out en masse like this. They go off in different directions and try and forage. And to have two groups like we've had this evening chasing each other around is fantastic. I think Ribbon wants to go back to the den, but Comet is going to carry on here. Alright, let's go back to Lauren. She's managed to find some signal and catch up with the other hyenas.
This is so exciting. My hyenas are galloping. I can smell the dogs. I can hear the dogs. I don't know where they are. It's dark now. I think they're still on Djuma. These hyenas are following them. I am convinced of it. There's only two. Yeah, they're following the dogs. I'm sure the dogs went down there. This is the drainage line next to Gowrie Cut Line. I'm just going to try and see if I can pop my nose a little bit up ahead. Hyenas are following the dogs. If these hyenas go into this drainage and don't pop out, there's no way that we can fall. This is a very, very thick drainage, but they're following dogs. I think the dogs heard the lions. They got really spooked, or they heard something, and that's why we watched them turn the other way. And then, of course, we've been following these hyenas for about 10-15 minutes now, and they've just gone into this drainage. I'm convinced that's the way the dogs went. We got a call on the radio that the dogs are calling from this area. So I think they're actually in this drainage, and they may be hoping to settle for the night. But if the hyenas come along, they're not going to be happy with that. Wow, drive. I think it must be the Talamatis up in Buffelshoek. I'm just going this way so that I can just spotlight behind me. Lesson number 1 in the bush, always check behind you. Don't think I see anything. I think it will have been the Talamatis have killed Giraffe, which is unbelievable, on a property that we cannot go. But I think that was what the dogs heard. And of course, dogs are, well, terrified of lions. That's the enemy. Yeah, these hyenas have gone down. The dogs have gone this way, into this drainage. What an amazing drive. And you all witnessed the dogs going from flat to completely awake and mobile just like that. Just like that. In split seconds, the dogs are up and they're on the move. And luckily for us, we managed to follow them all the way along the northern cut line. But that doesn't always happen. Once dogs go into the block, I can assure you, you're in trouble. During summer, at least. Aha, my hyenas has disappeared, but it seems like James has still got his.
Well, we've just kind of caught up with ours now, and they're, oh gosh, they're charging through here. Well, we'll try and follow them. We could easily find ourselves in a very large hole. All right, if you've enjoyed our rather exciting drive tonight, which I hope you have, you can support us if you'd like to by going to wildearth.tv/support. That's wildearth.tv/support. We're not going to get through here without a bulldozer, so we'll just quickly nip out and see if we can't get back onto the road. Dave, I don't suppose you can kill that light while I do this, can you? Thank you. All right, I'll put it back on. Let's just see if we don't see our hyenas. If we don't, then we'll just end the show. But I have a feeling that they're not going to emerge. I think they've gone down to exactly where Lauren's are, and I think they're going to meet each other down in the riverbed, unless they all happen to pop out on the road in front of us here, which I think the way is possible. I mean, in the daytime we may have got in there, but right now it'll be relatively suicidal. I'll just go to the next junction and then we'll call it quits. Can't see anything either side of me. I suppose I could try and put some spotlights, but I do detest putting lights on animals, but for when it's absolutely necessary. We'll just go down to this next junction in case they've popped out there, and if they haven't, we'll end. Now, I think Lauren's hyenas and my hyenas have met up in the middle of the riverbed there. Don't know what they're doing, having a conference or bullying some dogs. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. It was a marvellous afternoon. Pretty quiet on my end, but lovely elephants in the end there and beautiful wild dogs the whole day. Let's hope that it maintains this kind of form tomorrow morning. We'll see you then at 0600. Bye-bye.